You can join us anytime you like. You can watch us as well as listen to us. You can listen to this fella, Alex Crook, my colleague here at talkSPORT, joins us with the latest movers and shakers in the world of football. Mr. Crook, good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon, Jim. How are you?
We are very well. I am fine. Mr. Jordan is in his usual inimitable form, and so too is Trevor. Tell me. I was led to believe Eddie Howe to Celtic will happen this week. Happening?
Well, I wish I had something definitive, Jim, because I'm being bombarded with messages from Celtic fans who understandably are getting a bit impatient on this one. As I said last week, my understanding is that an agreement between Eddie Howe and Celtic has been in place for some time now in terms of the wages and the contract length. The continued delay seems to centre around the furniture around him, for want of a better phrase, in terms of his coaching staff, who's going to be head of recruitment. I'm also told he does have small concerns over the list of transfer targets that he's been presented with by Celtic. I think ideally he would like a slightly bigger budget to try and wrestle back that SPL title from Rangers. Celtic, I can tell you, are still confident. Whether it will be announced this week or early next, well, that's the million-dollar question at this stage.
So he's perturbed, is that what you said, at the transfer targets presented to him by Celtic?
Yeah, I think he feels they need... Well, he will have his list of targets as well, no question about that. But he feels that this is a big summer needed. Rangers obviously winning the league fairly comfortably last season. I told you last week, Odsonne Edouard is likely to depart. Christopher Ayer, wanted by Newcastle, another who could be on his way from Celtic Park. So I think there's a lot of haggling still to be done about the calibre of players that Eddie Howe would like to bring in.
The longer this goes on, Trevor, the longer it goes on, Celtic fans will be thinking, oh, when is this ever going to get announced? Is it going to get announced?
Yeah, but is he fighting the right fight now so that he doesn't have the fight when he gets into the job? And maybe it's a good thing that before he puts his signature down, he's fighting for the funds so he can compete. So maybe it's a good thing that Celtic fans need to understand.
Do you see that as a fit?
Oh, he's on gardening leave. I'm getting paid up by Bournemouth.
No, I'm told that isn't the case, Simon.
No?
I'm told categorically that isn't the case.
I think this is the strongest position he's going to be in, because as soon as he signed the contract, that's it. So everything needs to be agreed. If he gets that agreed, I think Eddie Howe can do a job.
Yeah, okay. Well, it remains to be seen, but nothing concrete certainly on that. What about United? Tom Heaton.
Yeah, we spoke about this one last week, Jim. I told you that he was on his way back to Old Trafford. I think he left in 2002. That deal is now done, so he will be one of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's first signings after, hopefully, they win the Europa League tonight. Sergio Romero, who's been hankering for a move away for some time. You may remember that his partner was very unhappy when he was blocked a couple of transfer windows ago from joining Everton. That move could well now be back on. He's a free agent, clearly isn't going to get a new contract at Old Trafford, and I know there is still interest from Carlo Ancelotti. The interesting one is Lee Grant, who has been their third choice goalkeeper, spoke really eloquently on talkSPORT Breakfast a week or so ago. Whether United offer him a new deal, maybe even a player coach role, I think that is being discussed at this moment.
Okay, I mean, De Gea, interestingly, celebrates 10 years at the club this week. You wonder who's going to make way for Heaton. I mean, that's it, Trevor, isn't it?
You would say De Gea, but I mean, what does it say about Henderson? They're bringing in a number one goalkeeper. Fancy him.
But would Heaton not be competition for Henderson, and then De Gea frees up a substantial amount of money if they really are serious about going after Kane?
Yeah, and Romero wants to leave as well, so yeah, it'd free up wages for sure.
Sure. We've been hearing that Willian may be close to the door at Arsenal. I spoke to somebody close to Willian this morning and said, no, it's way too early to talk about that. Well, it's not really, because this is going to be the closest of close seasons, if you like, with the Euros. Time will pass extremely quickly, Alex.
Yeah, it certainly will. It's going to feel like a very short summer indeed. I mean, if he is close to the exit door at Arsenal, I'm sure there's a lot of supporters who would be willing to open it with open arms. It's been a really poor signing, that one, in terms of goals and assists. He's just never settled. I am told that on a personal level, he would love to go back to Chelsea. Not sure that would be reciprocated from Chelsea. If he exactly, but if he does go, I tell you who could well be the replacement. He's a player that we've talked about at numerous occasions on this programme. Emi Buendia, an excellent season for Norwich.
Amazing.
I think there were discussions last summer when Arsenal were interested, and Norwich was saying, "Give us another season, get us back in the Premier League, and then, if the price is right, we will sell you." So if Arsenal can cough up £40 million this summer, I think Buendia could be a player heading there. They've been linked with Ryan Bertrand as well. I'm not sure how much substance there is to that rumour. Doesn't really go along with the recruitment policy that Mikel Arteta is trying to introduce in terms of younger players. I think Leicester possibly would be a more likely destination. There's a one-year deal on the table for him, although he was waiting to see if they qualified for the Champions League. So maybe he feels he can still get a club in the Champions League. I know his agent was in Milan recently.
Yeah, I mean, Simon, what were Arsenal doing offering Willian a 3-year deal?
We all said that. And
he's 32.
I weren't sure though,
but we all said
the
that.
quality that he's got and he's shown in the past. Who knew that he weren't going to be a good ager?
But I think conventional wisdom, and most people turned around at the time and said strange move, and so it's proven to be. Here we go, Kia, with one of your wonderful little expressions that you always come along and fix problems if a problem manifests itself. Got a problem at Arsenal. Willian sucks, so you have to move him out. So along you come and fix a problem that you in part created, because he's been poor. He's been poor, and if Arsenal want him out the door, then you would expect Kia Joorabchian to rock up and fix that particular problem.
Yeah, but how did they get him out in those wages?
Very difficult.
Well, you pay a proportion of the wages, I suspect. What's he on? 150 grand a week, 200 grand a week? What's he on, Alex? Do you know?
I think it's nearer the 200 figure.
So 200 grand a week. So do you do a deal?
It's a 3-year contract as well, so he's got 2 years left.
If the worst case scenario is that the best you can do is pay up a proportion of his contract and free up the other half, then that's what you have to do, don't you? If he's superfluous to requirements, there's no transfer fee.
Fans don't understand. Certain people don't understand that, Simon.
Well,
the closer it gets, the more money he's got off the player.
If he's got 10 million, well, it depends if the player wants to play. Right? If the player's got any integrity, and we'll get onto that in a second, I suspect, about someone else. If the player's getting £10 million a year for playing at Arsenal, but they don't want him, and he wants to sit there, then he's a certain type of player. If Arsenal turn around and say, well, we can save 5 by paying 5 per year, which is galling, but that's the economics of football,
Painful.
They'll free up the other 5, and Willian will be able to get double bubble somewhere else, I suspect.
And Alex, we spoke about Wolves earlier on, this fella Bruno Lage, but it's going to be a busy few weeks here, I think.
I think it is. I think this is going to be a real period of transition now for Wolves. I heard your discussion about Bruno Lage. I'm being told by my sources at Wolves that although he has met with the club, that happened on Monday, and I think he's met with them previously as well, it's by no means a done deal. And I was told by a very reliable source this morning they've actually started to make discreet inquiries around Frank Lampard, who of course is looking to return to the Premier League this summer. So we'll watch that one with interest. What we do know is that whoever comes in at this moment in time isn't going to have a particularly big transfer war chest to rebuild that team. That's why they're open to offers for Ruben Neves, although I think the reported £35 million valuation might be a bit short, near a £45 million I think it would take to price him away. He also has been linked with Arsenal. And Rui Patricio, I'm being told, is very much on the wanted list of a certain Jose Mourinho. talkSPORT, Jose Mourinho at Roma. So could they cash in on him as well to give whoever the new manager is going to be funds?
What do they expect Raul Jimenez to be like? Is he going to be training, obviously with his skull cap on, but is he going to be getting anywhere near the levels that he was?
Well, certainly they hope so, Trevor. I know he had an appointment booked with a consultant around about 10 days ago, and they were basically going to assess whether it would be safe for him to return to training and to head the ball. Would he need a Petr Cech-style protective skull cap? I have to say I haven't heard how that consultation went, but that's going to be a major issue for Wolves, isn't it? Because we saw, I think they were 6th in the table when he was injured, and they absolutely fell away, didn't they, in the second half of the season. And interestingly, when you look at their expected goals, they created the same number of chances they did with Jimenez in the team. They just didn't have anyone to put them in the back of the net.
Alex, a couple of people in Twitter feed here trying to tell us that Gareth Bale, guys, he's going to Cardiff. That's what's happening. He's going to Cardiff. Now, Gareth Bale said at the weekend to Laura, I think, on Sky Sports, listen, I won't reveal my decision on my future until after the Euros because it would cause chaos if I would. What kind of chaos? Is it Cardiff chaos?
I'd be very surprised if that happened, unless he's going to take a very significant pay cut. It's an issue for Gareth Bale, because I think actually, again, his stats at Tottenham were pretty good, considering that Jose Mourinho almost refused to pick him when he was there, but he came into the team under Ryan Mason, made a real contribution, not least on the last day of the season. But he's on massive money, and who's going to pay him that kind of money with
surely,
the current global
Cookie,
pandemic?
surely it's not about money now for him.
You say that. You could have said that it wasn't about money 2 years ago when he wasn't playing any
that's
football
right.
at Real Madrid.
And Alex, this morning, interestingly, in the breakfast show, Andros Townsend was asked if he thinks he could see Gareth Bale retiring.
I couldn't until you mentioned the fact that he's looking to negotiate a deal with Real Madrid. Because if you want to retire, if you're no longer interested in football, but you're on 300-400 grand a week for another year, why would you retire? Why would you not just go back, sit, get your money, and then do what you want to do after that? But listen, he's had a tough time in Spain. He's come back to England. He's hit double figures. He's proved to everyone that he can still do it. Is that enough for him? Is that enough? Will he do the Euros, hopefully have a good Euros, and say, right, that's me done. I'm going to retire on a golf course somewhere?
You don't seem to be too enamoured by Andros's comments, Simon.
I don't know, with due respect to the people on the breakfast, how that wasn't challenged, because that's an outrageous outlook. You know, the fact of the matter is, if Real Madrid was silly enough to give him a contract of £400,000 a week, that's up to them. But to suggest that his best course of action is to lose all integrity, have no interest in football, not have any values about a sport that's put him in a position alongside his talent, and sit there and draw a salary, probably is as good as it gets about encapsulating certain footballers' mentalities. Because that's not how it should be. As an elite footballer, you shouldn't want to take something that you're not really able to perform to get. Yes, of course someone signed a contract, and of course if that contract has been signed, then people should honour it. But the sentiment was, sit back and take your money and not bother trying to find a resolution.
Yeah, I
find that strong.
Yeah, no, I do. And I looked in the window when he said it, and I was like, what are you saying, Andros? And I actually pulled him up on that. And he said, well, not so much the money, it's the way that he feels that Gareth might feel that he's been treated, one, off Real Madrid by leaving him out in the cold, and two, off the media in Spain. But still, for me, the integrity, you want to play football. I think it'd be a romantic end for him if he went to Cardiff City, to the Bluebirds. I think money is not an issue for him. Yeah. If he went there and tried to finish his career at Cardiff City, I think that'd be a wonderful end. But if he sits there in Madrid and takes his 400 grand a week, I think that'd be so disappointing.
I mean, wouldn't it be wonderful for Gareth Bale to go out with a parting gift to English football, to have helped Tottenham catapult Chelsea into the Champions League? That was his parting gift to Tottenham, catapulting Chelsea into the Champions League.
Oh dear.
Enough said. Alex, for the moment, thank you very much. Alex Crook with us this lunchtime live on talkSPORT.